here. Let me go ahead and open that up so you can see that a little better. And it's right behind me in the classic version. You can see right here, this is the pattern for it. And I put mine into a 3-ring binder. And these are the worksheets for it this week, are the movement worksheets. The Live Well, Live Strong quilt is all about health and wellness for women. It has 26 quilt blocks, and each week we focus on a different aspect of health and wellness. So let me know if you're here. I can't wait to see you guys, and I cannot see comments, so I'm going to open that up. Let's see your view. Okay, let me do chat. Okay, great. Okay, so let me go ahead and see all of you guys up here. And so we are making this quilt block. It has a square in the center, and then it has 4 squares on the edges with some offsetting triangles around. And to me, this looks like a gear and a piece of machinery. And remember that that's kind of what we are like. We are, our body works together as gears and machinery, and we need movement in our lives to help it all work real smooth and nice. Hi, Amanda from Louisiana. It's so good to see you. I just absolutely adore you guys. So, and then later this week, our next video will happen, and on Friday, and we are going to be making the teeny tiny version of the movement quilt block that is foundation paper piece. So you can see that right there. And this is the foundation paper piece version of the Live Well, Live Strong quilt. You can see all the paper on there. Hi, Alma. Hi, Delinda. Hi, Lynette. So this is this one right here. And we just got, or we have behind me, the large version of the negative space in the Live Well, Live Strong quilt and everything else. So I've got everything cut and ready for you guys to stitch together today. And let me go ahead and show you my workspace. And we are going to just organize it a little bit. It's just kind of all over the space. So let's go ahead and change the camera view. Okay, here we are. Let me go ahead and move this just a little bit further that way, and you can see some of my computer stuff right here. But what we are going to do is we're making our movement quilt block like this. So I'm going to build this out for you with what I have right here. So let's how about set that right here so you can see it. And this is our little teeny tiny one, which is so cute. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take our square and put it on point, and we're going to build these units around it. So I have actually pre-sewn 3 of these because it's kind of just repetitive. So we've got 1 triangle unit here, a triangle unit here, and a triangle unit right here. So the next thing that we're going to do is just kind of build this out so it looks just right with that. This has like an orange center, and on the sides has like an aqua center right there. And I'm going to lay down my triangle just right like that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and sew this together, and let me set my cell phone up to the side. All right, now when we are sewing together these little corner units, I do want to give you a tip right there. So right here, these are the 2 units. These are the 2 squares that we want to, or the 2 shapes that we want to combine. And we're wanting to go ahead and do these at 90-degree angles. So we're going to match the 90-degree angle of the triangle to the 90-degree angle of the square. So I'm going to just put these right sides together. Remember, I'm using solid fabric, so mine look just slightly different. This is the path that we're going to stitch on, so I'm going to go ahead and stick a pin in this so I don't get kind of wonked around stitching it the wrong way. So now when we have this on here, this is a little distracting, but you can see I'm going to turn this over. Hi, Laura. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Lynette, you're right. I have the industry block. Holy cow. Okay, well, let me fix this. Now let me go see. Oh, this is so funny. Okay, remember when you match up 90-degree angles, these are the little dog ears on there. Okay, we're going to maybe set this aside because I've got my book of movement right here. So just one moment, you guys. Sorry. This is so funny. Okay, this is where I store everything. I keep a larger 3-ring binder. And let me go ahead and go back. You are right, you guys. That's so funny. Here's all my fabric. Yes, in fact, I know what I'm doing. That's so funny. I started doing industry. Okay, Okay, let's set all this right back in here. And then you can see how I organize this. This is actually pretty good. I'm using a larger binder because I am actually sewing together more of these. And so I've got lots of different things going on in here. Let's go ahead and get out our little movement block. Oh my goodness, you guys, thank you so much. And thank you for your patience. Now, remember, there are 2 ways to sew the movement block. Here's Self-Reliant for this later this week. Or anyway, so the movement block can be sewn 2 different ways. Oh, Laura, you're a new grandma. You have fuzzy brain today. I have fuzzy brain too. I'm still trying to help my in-laws, but we're now having more family come and help too. This is the template. So there's 2 different ways to sew the movement block. I'm going to pull this forward. Okay, so at least I'm prepped. You guys, I try to stay prepped for you guys. So at least that was an easy, quick change. Okay, now movement is right here. There are 2 different ways to sew the movement block. I found that a lot of people had a pain point sewing the movement block together, okay? So this one is actually done with this movement template right here, and we're going to cut that out in just one moment because I'm going to show you how to access your templates. But further back in the pattern, I have the easy movement instructions, and it's all half square triangles. So if you are looking at that template and thinking, this is too hard for me, then you can go ahead and go to page 22 of the updated pattern. So let's go ahead and pull this out. Updated pattern. Anybody that's purchased the pattern has access to the updated pattern. So pull out your updated pattern. This is movement right here, okay? This is where you make it with the template. If you feel like this is too overwhelming, just go, because it will still look exactly the same. Go to page 22 in the pattern and pull out this, and this gives you all the instructions of how to cut the block as half square triangles, and you construct it as half square triangles. But I do want you guys, we started with industry, and yes, we're now in movement. See, look at this. I opened up this page and my eye drew to this one right here, Lynette, instead of movement. So next is Self-Reliant, then industry, and then accept. So that is totally my mistake. I kind of went, but you helped me, Lynette. Thank you. All of you guys helped me. So we're working on movement, and that is definitely the block that we're on. Okay, so remember, there are 2 sets of instructions. One on page 8, that is the template, and I'm going to show you the template way. This page on page 22 is the half square triangle method, all right? So choose which method that you would like to do. I am going to show you the template method today, and these are the movement worksheets right here, okay? And it's all about moving our bodies and moving, and it's like a spinning wheel here, and it's all about moving our bodies and being healthy with movement in our lives, okay? So let's go right here. I always keep some paper scissors handy in my sewing machine area, and I definitely do that because we need them. There's a lot of times when we need paper scissors. Now there is a template right back here on the shape that, oh, let me pull that, I'm sorry. I want to give you a quick tip. Make sure when you are cutting out this template that your square grid, let me go ahead and hold this up close. When you print it off, you're printing it off as actual size. And then you check and verify that that actual size measures up to that 1-inch triangle. So there is a movement template in the template portions of the pattern, okay? So this is what the pattern looks like, is right here. So let's go ahead and cut this out. Industry is going to be 2 blocks from now, and industry is all about having something to feel busy with and to enjoy. Okay, so now the movement template is cut out, and when you cut these, you're going to want to cut them so that they match this movement template, okay? And you can easily do that by cutting this out exactly on the line. I did not cut out mine exactly on that. Laying it out, and then rotary cutting this just all the way out around this square, sticking a pin in this, and then cutting it out that way. There is a second way to cut out the movement squares, and you don't have to use the template, and I give you the measurements on inside the pattern. And let's go ahead and demonstrate that real fast. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and I keep all of my Live Well, Live Strong fabrics right behind me, and we are going to use this little segment right here, and I'm going to show you how to cut out one of these squares. So let's go ahead and open back up the pattern, and there we go. So it says to cut this 3 7/8 of an inch by 2 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and just share those instructions. So 3 7/8 by 2 inches. So let's go ahead and get this. So this fabric is 2 inches tall, and I'm going to just kind of just take that right there. I'm going to go right along the extra. Now remember, I have a quilt fabric store, so I'm not really worried about all of my scraps and things like that. Well, I do clean them off the floor. Okay, now we're going to cut this 3 7/8. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You cut this, if you're not using the template, this would be how you would manually use this, how you would manually sew this. Okay, we're getting phone calls, but we're going to just mute my phone. And let me go ahead and go like that. We'll just hear it for a minute ring. Okay, we've got 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so, but we've got to cut 3 7/8. So I'm using my ruler, and I'm cutting 3 7/8 on this, right like that. Now we are going to use our ruler. On our rulers, we usually have 45-degree angles. We have 60-degree angles and 30-degree angles. We are going to use the 45-degree angle on our ruler. And right here, we're going to lay this down, and we're going to go right from the edge. So I'm going to take this 45-degree angle line right there, and I'm going to bring this across. So it's just lining up right with the line right over there. And then I am going to trim off this edge. Okay? And that is the shape that we need for the movement quilt block. For these sections right here, you need 4 of these. So you can actually make this with the template. Does anybody know where I set the template? Or you can make it so you can cut them out 2 different ways. Or you can make this quilt block with all half square triangles. Let's get started on actually sewing these together. I want to be able to show you that. And I've got my iron right here. So, and we're going to set up this quilt block, and I'm going to show you how to do this. And because this is a pain point too, which is why I designed it so that you can actually sew these as a half square triangle. So you guys decide, but I am going to give you instruction on how to do it the harder way. No way nothing is right and nothing is wrong. Okay, we're putting our square in the center right here. Here's our cute little movement template for the foundation paper piecing. We are going to set this one right here. We're going to, let's build out this block. We're going to put this one right here. We're going to go ahead and set that one there. And we are going to build this out again. The one really weird thing that feels strange is how you construct this, which is why, if you're feeling overwhelmed by it, just do it with the actual half square triangle method, okay? But I am going to show you how to do this, and we're going to sew this quickly, but I think it's really important that you guys see how to construct this. Okay, so there we go. We have our extra piece, and like that. Because we're going to start and stop this as we construct it. So I'm going to do these units, and I'm going to piece them together and right here as we piece these 2 together, there are instructions in the pattern, but you definitely want your dog ears hanging off when you place these front right sides together to sew these. So you can see the edge of the dog ear on this side, the edge of the dog ear on that side. Okay? Now I'm going to stitch this 1/4 inch. And we're going to stitch all 4 at the same time and go ahead and do these all together. So Let's bring these right sides together. Okay, wait, let me lay these down again. Hold on for 1 moment. Here we go, just like that. Okay, so we're gonna see a green dog ear hang off this side and a red dog ear hang off on that side. Let's go ahead and lay it down. We've got our dog ears on either side. It'd be nice if these dog ears were equal. That's your goal, is to have your dog ears be equal. What's really fun about the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is it is a skill building quilt. Okay, we're gonna put these right sides together. The dog ears hanging off. You can see your right side and you can see your green side. Lynette, we'll see you a little bit later. Oh, spinal injections, yuck. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. Well, hopefully it gives you more movement when you get that done. Okay, we're gonna sew a 1/4 inch seam, because remember, in quilting, everything is pieced together with a 1/4 inch seam. I'm gonna put these right sides together, and we've got that 1/4 inch hanging off each side. Let's go ahead and just bring this over of our, oh, looks like my top thread broke there for a minute. Let's go ahead and just rethread this real quickly. So remember, you want your dog ears to hang off the side and come up on either side, and you're gonna have a little red one and you're gonna have like a little green one. Okay, let me get that. It's kind of funny doing this. I put a new light. Does anybody have the LED light strips underneath their sewing machines? I have really enjoyed mine. I think it was like $8 on Amazon to buy it. What a wonderful item that I have truly enjoyed. I'm going to go ahead and cut my thread shorter, and let's go ahead and thread this little machine, and we'll keep that going. So does anybody have the LED light that goes under your sewing machine? In fact, I can show you what it looks like brand new. Sorry, I'm going to have to lick that. There we go. Okay. And let's get that lined up just perfectly. Okay, let's keep our string feeding, and then all we have to do is add this triangle, this offsetting red triangle to the green triangle. But what's important here is I want you guys to see what it looks like when I just broke that again. That is so funny. I'm doing something that's holding. I need to be more careful and let my needle just come straight up before I go ahead and pull my pieces back. And I actually myself, I put my LED lights across where my threads should be. I just really wanted them badly right there. So maybe I'm kind of eating, maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I just really wanted them badly, and I wanted to try that. Okay, so let's keep going here, and we're going to press these open. I've got my pressing mat right here. What kind of pressing mat do you guys use? Do you guys actually use your ironing board? Do you use a pressing mat? What type of item do you use to press? I love being able to press as I sew. So everything I press as I sew and go along. I just really believe in pressing as you piece together your quilt blocks. Let's go ahead and lay these back down real fast, and we'll just lay them back out. Now, if you guys have already seen this, you have to start and stop a quilt block partially through this. All right, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay, so there we are. So now we're going to take this piece right here, and we're going to put it right sides together with our triangle. Maybe this is cut a little small. Like, yeah, that's just going to be crazy if I've actually have something that is the wrong size cut today, but that's okay. This should be that size, and then, so let me just go ahead and cut these really fast. I've got my red right here. I think my little triangles are a little bit too small, so I'm going to set this aside. This was cut some time ago. You guys, I really cut my things quite in advance, maybe months in advance, and this is one of those quilt blocks. So let's see. I'm going to just go ahead and lay this back down. I'm going to, and what's really nice is the way that I have you cut this for the quilt is we cut one big square and then we cut it into diamonds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and bring this over here and trim that. And that is our square. Now we're going to cut this like this on the angle, from angle to angle. And this gives us the 4 units that we need. I think whatever we did, we had that a little bit small. So we're going to go ahead and try this out. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix this. And we've got that one right there. We're going to go ahead and, I don't know, maybe I need to cut that even smaller. That's too funny. You guys, did I like read that right? Am I reading the, oh, I totally read that wrong. 2 and 3/8. You guys, okay, today, you guys, I might feel a little flustered now. During the video, I might have to refilm this video. Okay, 2 and 3/8. Let's go ahead and trim this off. I always have my scrap pieces around. There we go. We cut this 2 and 3/8. So 2 and 3/8. Let's go ahead, and I always use a ruler with 1/8 of an inch measurement. So 2, 3/8. Now we are going to trim this off. And this one, we actually cut 2 squares. And then we go ahead, let's bring that over a little bit more. I didn't quite get that real squared up. And 1, 2, and 3/8. Okay, so you guys, are you getting ready for the holidays? How are you guys doing? I am anxious to get my home ready for the holidays. And we actually did a whole bunch of Christmas shopping when it came to Amazon Day. Okay, now I'm going to stack these 2 squares on top of each other, and we're going to cut them on the diagonal like that. Okay, now we will be right. Okay, there we go. Let's lay this right here. And this is slightly bigger than that one. Can you see that? Good golly. Okay, that's all right. Okay, so we're going to sew those to that. And I'm going to lay this out just so you can envision how I am stitching these. And you can see how these are going off on the side. So what I need to show you how to do is I need to show you how to add and subtract those squares on there. Because this kind of starts and then you have to stop 1/4 of an inch from the way. So let me just go ahead and get this on here. I'm going to put these right sides together. I'm using solids so I don't have a right or a wrong to my fabrics. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull this right along here. There we go. Let's put this right sides together. And once again, I'm measuring up this point and I'm just bringing this over to the 1/4 inch. I've got my dog ears hanging off. It's okay if your dog ears on this for different pieces are not perfectly accurate. In fact, I will show you mine. I am definitely giving you a little bit more space here so that when you construct this, you've got room for movement to fix your fabric. Because sometimes when you cut on the diagonal like that, your triangles may not be absolutely perfect. So I'm giving you guys some room and easement to be able to make it so that your squares are accurate or your piecing is accurate. So once again, match these up, right sides together, and we're going to just go ahead and bring this. I got to tell Vanessa that I had the wrong quilt block today. We were working on industry. Okay, so movement. I'm definitely anxious to add movement to my life this next week and to focus on that. And that's the nice thing about the Live Well, Live Strong quilt is that you're able to go ahead and take in different aspects of wellness in our lives and be able to implement that aspect of wellness. So let's go ahead and press this out, and we're going to have a really nice rectangle here. Okay, let's do the same thing over here and bring that out. Whoops. Okay, very good. And now we're going to start building these rectangles on the actual turquoise center. I love these colors that are on the original block where we have red, lime, and turquoise combined together. But I absolutely love what you guys make in your blocks. Now, before we start constructing too much of this, we are going to want to trim off some of our dog ears. You can see all the dog ears that are hanging around. So we've got some extra dog ears here, here, and we've got an extra dog ear right over there. So we're going to snip those off, and we'll go ahead and do that again. So before you go to your next step of piecing, trim off all those dog ears. So here we go, and let's get this one underneath. Okay, we have that one, and we have this set of dog ears right there. Feel like I might have sewn that one a little wonky, but we're going to go ahead and make it right. Okay, so we've got everything trimmed off. Now, this is the important right here. Hi, Dolores, you've been busy making Christmas gifts. You made the bowl cozies and hot pads and a few small quilts. I love it. I love it. I need to be making some Christmas gifts too. Now, as we are piecing this together, we are wanting to just go ahead and have these two things. You want this end of this square to line up with your point of your triangle over there, and you want these two ends to match up right there on the ends. Okay, so we want our triangle to match up to the end of this turquoise square. So when you're using the right size fabrics, I apologize, you guys. Now I am going to stitch this on, and I'm going to stop at the 1/4 inch mark at the end of this. So let me go ahead and stitch this on. I know it feels really weird. It feels unnatural, and I can even leave a little bit more left over there. Okay, so we have now done that. So you can see I have left a flap open right there. I've stitched that on. Remember, there is an easier way to construct this block. I'm now going to bring this over here, and I'm going to stitch the entire length along here. I want this seam right here. I'm going to finger press it right now, but I absolutely want the seam of that lime green triangle to match up perfectly, if possible, to the turquoise and the red. So I'm going to lay this down right sides together. That's the most important thing for me on this quilt block. So I'm going to go ahead, line that up, and I'm going to stick a pin in it so nothing shifts as I'm stitching. If this goes a little bit off, it goes a little bit off, but that's actually very, very accurate. Now I'm going to stitch the entire length of this little seam here. So I love this advanced quilt block piecing where you can learn new techniques. But if you feel overwhelmed by this new technique this week, the week after Thanksgiving, you can go ahead and do just all the half square triangles, okay? The method on page 22 of the updated pattern. So let's go ahead. Now you can see right here with my white thread that I went ahead and I had two intersecting lines here. And when I stitched, I intersect right between those two lines as I did my 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when you open this up, look at that perfect point of that lime green matching up with that seam. Okay, once again, let's go build our next one. So our next one, we're going to line up right here. I'm going to make sure the most important thing for me for matching is this point right here. I'm going to line that up right like that. I'm going to stick a pin in it because that's my most important thing to match on this block. And I am going to make sure that these go right across. Okay, let's lay this down and seam this together. And this movement quilt block is going to be complete in just a minute. So let's talk about movement, you guys. It's right before the holidays. This is a good time to implement some new movement routines. And look, I've got a good match there with my point of my triangle, and I went through those intersection of that. We're going to, once again, we've got this extra flap that we're coming back to meet. So you can see that I left that open. We're going to lay this down right here, and we're going to bring this right across. And I did not quite match that end triangle up real perfectly, but I'm going to make sure this triangle is matched right on top of that seam. I'm going to stick a pin in it, and we're going to press this in just one moment. So I'm going to go ahead and lay this over here. We're going to bring this on. So now is a good time to implement a little bit of movement as the stress of the holidays come. for ourselves and to implement movement in our lives as we are, you know, have more food that we're eating. So, and it just makes us feel better. It's healthier for us. I once again did my intersection right there, and I've got a perfect match. Okay, now I'm going to go back and finish the seam right here. So this is a little bit of an advanced quilting. I've got my seam allowances kind of flying all over the place. And I'm now going to lay those up. This was my extra flap. Remember, I didn't bring that all the way over. I'm now going to lay this down, and I'm going to finish my 1/4 inch seam. As soon as we finish this, let's go ahead and press it and see how our quilt block looks overall. I love this, that this block is just a little bit tricky. Do the 1/2 inch square triangles. The cutting for the pieces are different for the 1/2 square triangles. You have to cut different size pieces. So just remember that you can't just use the existing pieces right here for the 1/2 square triangle pieces, okay? All right, there's our movement quilt block. Isn't that beautiful? Look at how we've got matching seams, and that's one of the great things. I might go back and work on this one again, but that's the great thing about the Live Well Live Strong quilt is it's a skill building quilt. Let's go ahead and go back to the front camera. Okay, movement quilt block. Where's my other one? Well, I guess I didn't have it. So the movement quilt block is all about movement in our lives. I've got 2 beautiful worksheets for you guys. Movement actually helps heart health in our lives, and it talks about that. There are different examples of movement in here. Do you remember these things that have a momentum to them? Once we start a movement routine in our lives, it might just be something tiny, like moving side to side as we're watching the news at night before we fall asleep, waking up in the morning and doing some movement in our day. It definitely inspires us and brings us to a better space. Movement can also help our lives for stress or for anxiety and can help relieve those things. I've got some tips on here. There's 5 tips to ease into movement into your lives. So I've got some great tips and suggestions there. And I've got 9 reasons that we should move our bodies. Some of those include to strengthen our hearts, to sharpen our minds, to have more energy, to sleep better. Your body will look better. You will strengthen your bones. You'll have healthy lungs and organs. You will decrease your risk of cancer or disease, and it will reduce stress. So those are just 9 tips, and it has more information there for you. But I hope you can download these worksheets. They come with the purchase of the Live Well Live Strong quilt. So not only do you get a quilt pattern, but you get tons of different worksheets that are sensible. They're sensible things that you can work on. So Jane, it is so good to have your video to watch each step. I agree. And I'm sorry I started on industry before we got to movement. I apologize about that today, you guys. So I think movement is so important. This looks like a spinning wheel. And once we have that momentum going and that routine established, we might lose it, but we can easily pop back to that. So movement is definitely something important to do. I know I appreciate my Apple Watch. It lets me know if I've stood up 12 times in a day, lets me know how much I've moved and what kind of things I've done. So tracking your movement and seeing improvement from day to day or seeing where you're slipping, those are great things to be able to understand and to be able to help you to kind of be your best self. I'll be back on Friday. We're going to go over movement for the mini Live Well Live Strong quilt. This is one that you can have as a wall hanging, always as a reminder. And remember, I've got the bed runner to show you guys. It is down on that long arm as I've been taking care of people. But we've got the tiny version, which is 20 inches by 20 inches foundation paper pieced. We have the 60 by 60 inch version, and the negative space version goes from twin, full, queen, and king. So I can't wait to see you guys on Friday. It is so good. Yes, thank you for my I don't know, my brain warped there. Thank you for everything, you guys. You guys are my very best quilty friends, and you guys are true friends for life, and I just absolutely appreciate every single one of you guys. So movement, that's what we're doing this week. I'll be back on Friday to talk about more and to go over the foundation paper piecing. And the construction of it is very similar to what we did here. So anyways, you guys have a really good day. And And it's just so good. You know, Alma, that's a really good suggestion that we have a pre-made kit. And I'm getting ready to do a digital file that can then be cut on a Cricut machine or the Brother Scan and Cut. Anyways, can't wait to see you guys on Friday. Can't wait to see you guys and hear how your weeks are going and to hear what kind of movement you might have implemented to in your life to make it better. Thank you so much. See you guys on Friday. Ta-ta for now. Love you guys so much. Be sure to add that little bit of movement.